Hello, this is Bill Babbitt here. I'm a student at University of New Mexico, taking English 219. So right now I'm going to go over the major revisions that I made to my two assignments. This is my third time doing it, so hopefully it'll work. So we'll just make this short and sweet so that I don't go over and end up with a bunch of megabytes I won't upload. So the first highlight was a sentence that I needed to clean up, just make it more concise. That was feedback that I received from peer review. The second highlight was the daily logo. I just completely forgot about italicizing it since it was a periodical. Then as we progressed on through the rest of the paper, where you can see all of the lottery is where I started another paragraph. Previously I had this paragraph just jammed in with the first paragraph. I think when I was writing this paper I was more concerned about the YouTube video presentation that we were making, so there was a combination of both, trying to write the paper and kind of fretting about using YouTube since I had never done it before to upload videos. So as I continue to scroll down through this paper, I will highlight this here, and once again this is another section pointed out in peer review where I removed that period and I highlighted, just as a reference, where I made it in a citation, but you should never end a paragraph with a citation. So therefore, I went ahead and added another sentence just to solidify that paragraph. Then as I go down through methods, you can see the various methods. I used a different font to highlight the survey questions that I did. And then we come down to the results section. And once again, I added another paragraph, started another paragraph because I had this blended in with the previous one. So based on peer review, I went ahead and started another paragraph, just to separate the topics, or separate what I was actually talking about. We continue to go further down onto this paper and get into the discussion. There was another section here. I'll highlight this. Once again, I made another paragraph based on peer-reviewed feedback. And then here, as you can say, when you make these changes, you end up with stuff that is not always where it should be. So I will tab this down, or enter it down, return it down, whatever you want to call it, to get it onto the next page. So those were some of the the revisions that I made, and I think there was one other one. I'm going to sneak up here to find out where it was. Oh, right here. So this one here was, I incorporated this sentence to incorporate it, and it reflected off completing the dream article. Once again, to give it more, solidify it against, make that sentence more concrete. Using Samantha's point, comparing it to the article, completing the dream, based on raising GPA and lowering course load to 12 credits. I'm going to pause and pull up my proposal. So the second major revisions were for my proposal. The first one was I needed to incorporate the cost into the cover letter, which you can see I did here by highlighting it to 7840. That I added in. Let's scroll down again to another from the peer review, as I had to redefine the project plan. Instead of using just bullet points, I needed to create some steps and add 3 individual steps. So kind of enforce or to strengthen the various steps in the project plan to get out my ad campaign. Another thing that we needed to add, or based on peer review, was taking the bullet points, cost, and creating a table. So I did my best to create a table. It took me a while to just kind of play around with the format, and I realized it's not the best. I'm not quite sure why there's no line on the bottom of it, but it was just something else that I tried to experiment. And it also challenged me to learn something new, step outside the box, and add to my writing. Scroll down, we get references. You can see that every time you change something, you change the format. So down here I have some samples that I would use for the awareness project that, even though they were taken from the internet, they would be the basis of it so that we could go ahead and create a design. Another change that I had made was scroll down here. I had to change the font. I didn't realize when I submitted it previously the font was larger than the rest of the document. And then we get down to the reflection. I needed to be a little bit more specific in terms of my audiences. So I identified the audience as the chief of police and also as the second audience as the student body. So with that, I can conclude my major revisions, reflections, and I will end it with that.